All right, so we're live. Hey, everybody. I was having a little bit of troubles here, but welcome. I am Rakea Gibson, the owner of the Food Temptress Cookbook store here in Virginia Beach and online at foodtemptress.com. And we feature culinary books by Black authors. And today, I'm so excited. I'm going to fangirl out just a little. We have Jenné Claiborne, who is a vegan chef, a food blogger, and that's where I know you from. I followed you probably over a decade, which I'm
I love
on that age a little bit.
it.
But I also reviewed your first cookbook. Wonderful blogger, cooking instructor who resides in Atlanta, Georgia. And she's also the author of the Sweet Potato Soul Vegan Vibes 100 Soulful Plant-Based Recipes for Healthy Everyday Meals.
I brought my book too.
Yay! We're twinning. So good. So let's just jump right in. And so one of the things, at least for myself, I'm always confused vegan with plant-based. Can you just explain it to us as simply?
Yeah. Well, that definition is definitely very personal. There's no like set in stone, like actual definition for plant-based versus vegan. Vegan is really clear. Vegans eat plants. We don't eat animal products. So no eggs, no meat, no milk, no seafood. A lot of people are like, I'm vegan, but I eat shrimp. But no shrimp.
Really? Okay.
People, oh my goodness, always asking, can you eat shrimp? Or eat, usually, I don't know why it's always shrimp, but I never love shrimp. So I guess that's why. But vegans, we do not consume animal products, but that's okay because there are myriad, abundant, beautiful, delicious plants. Now, but when it comes to plant-based means different things to different people. So I'm going to tell you what it means for me.
Okay.
For me, when I say plant-based, I am referring to a way of eating that is predominantly plants, So in my mind, you could be plant-based and still eat shrimp or, a little bit of products. Okay. But whenever I'm referring to people who are plant-based, for example, my family, my mom, my grandmother, my mom, since I was born, majority of everything that she eats is vegan, but she eats fish. Likewise with my grandmother. So that's what I call those people. Like, I'll be like, they're like pretty much plant-based, or they're predominantly plant-based. Now there's another definition for plant-based that I hear, sometimes, but again, these are all personal, is, so plant-based meaning the type of vegan you are is one who doesn't eat highly processed or ultra processed vegan foods. So, like the Beyond Meats and Impossible Burgers and the vegan cheeses and all those things. Plant-based people, I've heard that term used to basically mean that they are like more health conscious. And the vegan term is for people who are more, coming at it maybe strictly from an animal advocacy perspective. But for me, I'm vegan. I don't say I'm plant-based. I'll use like the hashtag plant-based, but I typically just say I'm vegan because I eat like a vegan. I also live as a vegan. That's another thing. Some people will be plant-based, but you're not actually living as a vegan. So you might still consume or purchase leather or, maybe use products on your skincare, haircut, whatever, that have animal products in them. I'm a full vegan, so I do not eat any animal products. I don't buy leather. I don't, if there's something like with a dye that's like, I don't know, I'm thinking of like Carmine. But if there's something with an animal product in it, I won't spend my money on it, even if it's not going in my body, but just like going on my body or in my home. Like I don't buy wool rugs, for example. So that's my definition of plant-based.
Okay. Very cool. So yeah, so sometimes there's variations. So really you just have to ask people individually.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, what do you eat? If they tell me they're vegan, then I already know, right? I'm not going to ask any follow-up. The kind of questions I might ask are, why did you become vegan? But I basically understand like what they mean by that. But yeah, plant-based, It can range. It's a spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw a book. It was called Part-Time Vegan. You know, and I'm like, I might
Again.
eat her on that one a little bit. I'm probably a little bit more of like I get a few hours a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm not vegan, but I have an interest in adding more fruits and vegetables to my diet, and I've done like weeks with the strict vegan diet, but I'm always interested, so that's why I welcome people to have these
I
discussions.
love
So,
it.
so what were meals like for you growing up?
For me, I grew up, my grandmother was the main cook. I lived with her. My mom and I lived with her. My dad also was a big cook, but my mom didn't cook. Okay. So meals were whatever my grandmother would prepare. And day to day, we ate a lot of beans, a lot of like rice and beans. We ate a lot of vegetables, a lot of collard greens, like steamed vegetables like broccoli and such. Always a lot of sweet potatoes, which is where the name of my blog, Sweet Potato Soul, comes from. And we would eat everything, like when I lived with my grandmother, all the meals were like fresh home cooked, but I still was allowed to eat junk food too. Like I don't remember ever being like told I couldn't drink soda, for example. Or my grandmother always had candy out on the table, like a bowl of candy. My whole upbringing, like, so I was eating little, Hershey's Kisses every single day, just like come home from school, have something like that. My father, actually, he was raised vegan in the Hebrew Israelite community in DC. And I have a lot of other family members who are in that group. And he isn't vegan himself right now, or, he stopped when he like left the group. He was like, I think 17 or 16 or something, a teenager, but he was raised eating that way. And he is most comfortable cooking that way. And all my life today, still, my dad pretty much exclusively cooks vegan. He'll do, like, if certain people coming over, he'll do chicken for them or maybe fish. He never has ever touched red meat. I've never had red meat. Nobody in my family has ever, like, they don't cook that. But yeah, so I grew up eating my grandmother's food, and then, Sunday dinners were, traditional soul food, but not veganized, but like, for example, collard greens instead of ham hock, she always used smoked turkey neck because we didn't eat, like I said, pork or red meat. So there's like soul food with a twist, which at the time, I grew up in the 90s, it was not so unheard of. It was, a lot of people were eating that way anyway. And then, yeah, at my dad's house, we were eating a lot of vegetables for sure, but tofu and just like more unique things that I now put in like the vegan category that my grandmother she had never cooked tofu until I became a vegan myself. But at my dad's house, I was eating that basically every time I went to his house, so multiple times a week.
Okay. And so you grew up in Atlanta, correct?
I did, yeah.
And then, so just so I understand you did have some meat growing up.
Chicken
correct?
and fish, actually.
Okay. All right. Chicken
Yeah.
and fish. Okay. Very good. All right. So when did you decide you wanted to live a vegan lifestyle?
Okay, I decided to go vegan in 2011. So I don't know what year we're in right now, but it was a while ago. You said you've been following me for like a decade, so I'm like, and you said you're showing your age. I'm showing my age. I've been doing this blog. I've been having my blog since 2010, so 15 years. It's crazy. But I started the blog first as just a hobby, and at the time I was mostly vegetarian. I was kind of like going back and forth since 2007 until like 2010, 2011. I flip-flop between pescatarian and vegetarian. And in 2008, I stopped eating chicken. Okay. So that was like my big step, no chicken. First big step was just like in 2007. So I was in college. I was becoming interested in food and wanting to cook for myself. I was living off of campus for the first time. I went to school in Boston, so it's very far away from my family. So I didn't have like my grandmother's influence and her cooking every meal for me. So I I love to eat. I started cooking. And that all started because I lived in Boston and I discovered the Copley Square Farmers Market and all these beautiful vegetables. And at the time, blogging was new. And so I would buy, vegetables and go online and figure out how to cook them and then prepare them. And I had all these male roommates at the time and I would cook for them. One of them was a fisherman. So he would bring fish and then I would cook all of these vegetables and we cooked for each other. But okay, fast forward, gave up chicken 2008. 2010, by that point, I was super much more into health and way, way, way more into food. Food had become my passion. And 2011, so here's what happened. 2010, I had recently graduated from college a year prior, and I got a job at a vegan restaurant. I didn't want to work at a regular restaurant because I didn't want to serve meat. I was already coming to this awareness, right? So I didn't want to serve meat. I was looking for a vegetarian restaurant because honestly, I did not know anybody was a vegan if they were not Hebrew Israelite. I only knew it from that religious perspective. Found this vegan restaurant, got a job there, learned everything there is to know basically about being vegan. And within a year of getting that job, I myself became vegan. And I became vegan for ethical reasons, purely upfront. And then within a couple weeks, probably 1 week, I can't remember exactly, I started feeling so much healthier. And I was only in my early 20s. So how much healthier can I be? I thought I was pinnacle, right? There's the higher I could possibly go. But I was wrong. And all these issues that I had, especially gut issues that I thought were just I thought I was just born with a faulty gut, honestly. They all went away. That was 2011. They've never come back. And by that point, I was eating so little dairy. I didn't think it could possibly have been the dairy, but I was eating dairy once a week. I was eating a yogurt once a week because I was trying to help with my gut issues and all those commercials they sell you and tell you that's what you need. I gave up that once a week dairy in 2011. All my problems went away. My skin cleared up. All my gut issues went away. Literally, when you have gut issues, it affects all of your life. Your immune system, your mental clarity, and your emotions, and your skin, and your energy levels, and everything. It all went away. It was all connected to that one. I'm mad thinking about it because I'm if I had known, nobody ever. I've been in and out of doctors for years, my whole childhood. Nobody ever suggested that you are lactose intolerant. And of course, I wasn't so lactose intolerant where, I was going to anaphylactic shock or super outward symptoms of a real allergy or sensitivity. It was all these little things that amounted to a real effect on my quality of life. And I had no idea. So first the animals, that was my reason. And then I became so much healthier. I'm wow, this is amazing. Let me learn all about that too. And then from there, I just basically dedicated my career, but it really became my mission in life at that point, way back then, within a month, that I was going to help other people discover this way of living because it made such a profound effect in every area of my life. And so hoping I've been doing it ever since. I'm hoping I think I'm making an impact. I pray.
Yes. I think so. I'm slowly getting there, Jenné. I'm slowly getting there. But I think so. I think just like you hadn't heard of other people being vegan other than your close family, this broadcast is going to help somebody, right? Because they're really particularly Blacks, right? So
absolutely.
Black women are vegan, and I know that there's been, I don't want to say movement, but there's been a growth of Black women, letting people know, hey, I'm vegan, and it's okay, it's okay not to have, all your soul food and meats. You don't have to feel that guilt.
Right. And also, especially for Black people and Black women in particular, we suffer at the highest rates of the top killers in the world, in the United States specifically, heart disease, diabetes, stroke. We are the top, the biggest, the largest growing group of people to get Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. And these are not like hereditary things. Growing up, everybody, all my extended family, probably with the exception of the vegans, because there's different types of ways you can eat vegan, by the way. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're healthy. But in my family, they eat quite, home cooked and not a lot of processed food. Anyway, majority of my extended family on both sides of my family have all, heart disease, especially heart disease, so high blood pressure and diabetes. Top. My dad's side, more diabetes. My mother's side, more high blood pressure. My grandmother, my father, like everybody. My mother, no, because she's like I said, mostly plant-based, always has been, very, very active, very, very into health. That's where I get it from. But I was always told, well, it's hereditary. There's all these excuses as to why Black people have high blood pressure and diabetes. And it's usually, we say a lot of times, it's hereditary. Oh, I've been eating good. I've been eating right. I've been doing everything right. It's just hereditary. I can't get my numbers down. However, if you actually look at what you're eating and your lifestyle, and like if you could just take a snapshot of the reality of the way most of us live, you will see that even the little things, like in my case with the dairy, the little things could have a profound impact on your health as well. So you might not think, oh, I eat dairy once a week or whatever that might be. I drink alcohol only like on the weekend, or I'm not that stressed. Stress is a major contributor to especially high blood pressure. Oh, I'm not that stressed. I got it under control. If we actually could be honest with ourselves and take a real good look at how our lifestyle and our food choices are affecting us, we would see it is not hereditary. I mean, the science is telling us that it is not just hereditary. Sure, your grandmother, your mother might have had something which would lead that you might be predispositioned for it, but the determining factor is the food and it is the lifestyle. It isn't the hereditary. It's not a genetic condition like being born with like Down syndrome or sickle cell or something that you're born with that you can't change. This is not that. This is basically the food and the lifestyle are the trigger that turn it on and off. And if we can turn it off, we can get rid of those triggers that have turned it on, then you will see that you can actually not only avoid, but even reverse all of these top killers that, like I said before, overwhelmingly affect Black people at all income levels, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, worried about the poor people. It happens to all income levels, Americans in general, but specifically us, Black people.
And I did an experiment. It's funny you said something about the chicken. I stopped eating chicken for 30 days. And of course, my gut felt so much better. And I know I went back to it, but I can acknowledge that my body changed. I felt good. I wasn't foggy. And I love, it's such an addiction. I love chicken. Right? Yeah. But I know how it makes my body feel, right? And I'm just like, oh man, if I could kick that.
But when it comes to food, it's not that easy. Like we think of, oh, it's just food. It's not like drugs or caffeine or things like that. No, food is it hits us on a different, deeper level, right? Yes, you can give up chicken for 30 days, but like you need, like, of course, I don't know your specific thing, but let's just say, for example, let's just say you ate ice cream, right? Or cookies. Usually, chicken is not usually a comfort food, so that's why I'm going to use a different example here. Okay. But obviously, usually you're eating these comfort foods, ice cream, cookies, whatever, pizza, salty French fries, potato chips, whatever, to satisfy an emotional thing. It isn't about the food, because those foods, they are like kind of addictive, right? If they're ultra processed foods. But they're not addictive in the same way that a cigarette is addictive. Right. But it's an emotional thing. So we have to We have to really address that first. And further, it's not just that, it's also the community. It's
Right.
the people around us. If everybody is eating McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and ice cream every night in your household or in your life, it is going to be so much more difficult for you to do the opposite. You know, that everybody's pushing against you. You're the odd man out. They're tempting you. They're asking you just have a taste.
Right.
It's not gonna hurt you. That's just the reality. So we have to be like, honestly, so a lot of this when it comes down to health, whether you be vegan or not, but just health. So eating well is life or death. It honestly is. So but we have to look at it that way, because I think so many of us, you know, we are, I'm speaking anecdotally from my own family and discussions that I have. But, you know, we have the medical system. We've got the doctors. We could take the pill. We see grandma is still alive. She's on 5011 pills. She's doing fine. But is she doing fine? Can she actually be mobile? Is her quality of life where, you know, ideally if she could wave a magic wand, where she would like it to be? Is she getting other symptoms because of all these different drugs that she's on? What is the risk of this? Like, you can make a choice, but it's such a hard choice for so many of us, especially when everybody around you is doing the opposite. But it can be done, and people do it every day.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned your background, because I was just curious how, you know, at least you were familiar with veganism for a little while you were growing up. And I think that makes a difference too for some people. So let's get into, so I know you moved back to Atlanta a few years ago, correct?
Yeah, for almost 4 years.
Okay. Oh, wow, it's been 4. I remember moving. And so how did Atlanta inspire you? I'm sorry, Atlanta. I kind of lazily said that. How did it inspire you to write this cookbook?
You know what? Coming home, I was thinking about writing a cookbook since my first one, because my first cookbook did really well. And then the publisher, I kid you not, like a couple weeks after it had come out, she's like, okay, you ready for the next one? You ready for the next one? And no, I wasn't. I felt depleted. Not only did I feel depleted, but when my first cookbook had come out, I had, like, recently before that, moved from New York, where I was living, to Los Angeles. It was a big move. It was like a lot of life changes. I was getting married, so I was planning the wedding, and then right after I got married, I got pregnant. I had no space for the cookbook. Right. Fast forward, I move all the way back over to Atlanta. See, we don't say the T, so you say it. You don't have to say it. I moved back home, and I think just being surrounded by my family. My dad got married to my stepmom in 2016, and so she's an amazing cook. And by the way, she is also totally vegan. But being around her and my dad, them, like, I go over to their house and they cook amazing food every time I go. And also my grandmother, her cooking for me again, and just like being in my space, you know, just knowing where everything is, having, like, in my opinion, the best grocery stores in the world, like, right at my fingertips. It was just, I don't know, it's just to be home. It's like, oh, I got all these ideas. I'm comfortable again. I'm rested, you know.
Yeah.
I can like chill. I'm not on the grind anymore. Like, I did the grind. I lived for 15 years, you know, Boston for college, Boston, New York, Los Angeles, 3 places that, you know, for college is like grind, grind, grind. New York, gotta grind.
Yes.
LA, stay grinding.
Yes.
And then I came home where I have nothing to prove. Not that I had done everything I wanted to do, but I became successful, and I bought a house. So many of my goals and dreams that I was, you know, aspiring to when I lived in all these other places, I had brought to fruition in my life. I had a daughter, had this house, beautiful stuff. And so I could just chill. And then, you know, when you can relax and when you can be comfortable and you can be in your space, inspiration just comes. And so out of that, I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to write about. I didn't have all the recipes in my head at once, but I'm like, you know, like glimmers, and it just started to build from there.
Good. And I like that you said you want people to use the cookbook as an inspiration to find joy in the kitchen. And so you created like these approachable, delicious recipes. So give us what would be a couple of the good busy mom kid friendly recipes would you recommend out of this book?
Oh, good. Okay. My first one I would recommend is my absolute favorite. I think I'm going to make it tonight. That's why it's on my mind. I got all the ingredients it's the perfect pea pesto pasta. So good. And it's like, when I tell you easy to make, it is so easy to make. The most difficult part is just, you got to rinse off the basil, but it's got basil. It's a pea pesto. So frozen peas, thaw those out, steam them to thaw them or on the counter. Peas, few ingredients, more flavor, and then mint and basil. If I don't have mint or basil, like in the winter, I just use fresh spinach instead. Blend it all up, put it on pasta. But it tastes like something you eat at a restaurant, but you eat it really quickly. And that's one of my favorite ones for my daughter. She loves it. And I send her lunch to school every day. So she loves when I pack that. And then also I'd love to take that to like potlucks and stuff. I'm gonna jump, let me think. For breakfast, I love making biscuits. And I actually started making, in my first cookbook, one of like the most popular recipes is my sweet potato biscuits. This cookbook, I've got these spelt biscuits, and they are so good. They're easy to make. I usually make them, if I'm in a hurry, I'll do them in the food processor, just like pulse all the ingredients. But spelt flour is an ancient wheat. It's a lot easier for us to digest. It's higher in protein. It's got it's a little bit more earthy and maybe a little nuttier flavor than whole wheat flour or white flour. Generally, it's more wholesome, more nutritious, and it's very delicious. So I make those. I made those last weekend, and I put a little sweet potato in them to mix the old recipe with the new. And then in the cookbook, by the way, if you make those biscuits, there's also a sweet potato syrup and a sweet potato butter recipe. If you want to just go all out with sweet potato, which I do.
Yes.
And then let me think for like a quick little appetizer snacky thing. I was gonna say my gochujang corn ribs, but they're a little they're on the spicy side. But you can, yeah, those are really good. If you're a kid, if you got like older kids who do like a little spice, those are so delicious. Absolutely, I mean, they're easy to make. They seem like you would get them at a restaurant. Most of the recipes for me, I was going for recipes where you could impress yourself that you made it, but you didn't have to go too far out of your way to get the ingredients, and you didn't have to spend 2-3 hours in the kitchen. But in under 30 minutes, you can make something where you'd be like, did I make that? And those gochujang corn ribs are definitely one of those.
Okay, good. And I must add, you use a lot of fresh ingredients. I didn't see anything processed. Is that correct? I think I went through every recipe and I didn't see, so people could really have a nice, wholesome.
Yes, exactly.
Dairy,
easy to find ingredients. Some ingredients you might be surprised how easy they are to find. Like I mentioned those corn ribs, they've got gochujang. Gochujang is a Korean red pepper paste. And that pea pesto I mentioned has miso. Those ingredients, like if you've got a local Trader Joe's, if you have a health food store, if you have a Whole Foods, if you have Kroger, Publix, just like, the health food stores, but like these mainstream grocery stores also sell these products, and they will really honestly take your food to the next level. For people who live in more rural places where, just the demand is not there for those type of products, order them online. Highly recommend. They will last for a long time. But if you're really into, cooking with a lot of flavor, then those ingredients, and plus a lot of other ones in the cookbook that I love to use, they will literally take your food, your cooking to the next level. And just to say, for when it comes to vegan cooking, a lot of people might have had the experience of it being like not bland, but like lacking, like not satisfying, you know? And a lot of times what people are lacking when they prepare vegan food is that umami, and that's that savory, that richness that most people associate with meat,
Yes.
red meat especially, but it's also present in plants. And like I mentioned, miso, one of my all-time top 5 ingredients, can't live without. Miso is a great source of that. You'll see in the cookbook, I use a lot of soy sauce. Instead of seasoning with a lot of salt, I'll do salt, but not too much. And I'll reach for soy sauce instead first, because it has that umami, which it'll elevate and deepen any dish you put it on. Like literally I put it in, like there's a recipe in here for this amazing green jackfruit chili. It's got soy sauce in it. I find that it just really elevates and just makes everything much more satisfying. But there's a few other ingredients like that, like, you know, tomato paste, which you'll see in the cookbook. And sometimes I blend ingredients to, you know, enrich the flavor as well. But that's a lot in the cookbook. And you might not even know what you're doing because you're like, oh, I've got smoked paprika and I've got soy sauce. But then the end result is something that is, you know, super flavorful, super satisfying. And again, like you mentioned, made with these wholesome ingredients that, you know, you just find at your regular Kroger.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this cookbook. Give us a flip through so we can peep inside just a little bit.
Yeah, let's see a little flip through. I had to get a fresh book. I almost grabbed the one that I keep in the kitchen. That's all like, maybe I should have, because it's got tags all up in it, but it's a little dirty too. This right here is a black eyed pea curry. I'm a huge black eyed pea fan. You'll see a lot of Southern ingredients in this cookbook.
Okay.
What's this? Is this dirty rice?
Ooh.
I think it's my dirty rice, but.
Oh, okay. That's the melt, huh? That was that chickpea melt.
No, this is a black bean pizza. Oh, I love this one. This is a corn miso pasta. Ooh, everybody tells me they love this one. I love this one too, but I'm telling you, I don't think I love it as much as everybody I prepare it for. Like in my family and my friend groups, this is one of the most popular dishes I ever made. They're like, can you make that? This is a roasted grape bulgur pilaf. So bulgur is a type of type of wheat. It's like a cracked wheat. It's almost like rice, you know, it's got a nutty flavor. It's grain. It's like it's a little bit smaller than rice.
Okay.
More like hearty than something like quinoa. It's not like quinoa. But then I roast the grapes, and I like grapes okay. Like I'll never buy grapes for myself. I only buy them for my daughter. However, when you roast them, it's a whole different experience. You're caramelizing the sugars. And of course they're still juicy, but they're just like a richer grape flavor. And then for the dressing for this, it's a curry vinaigrette. So it's got the, little heat, little spice, little this, little that, and chickpeas and topped with pumpkin seeds. Here's that chili I mentioned. People are always asking about like, how do vegans get protein? You know, I address that in the front of this book in writing, vegan bolognese with lentils, but you'll see in the recipes this is one of my favorites. This is a seaside stew. This is like a clam chowder made with mushrooms. But you'll see I like to add a lot of lentils, beans. Like for example, in my recipe with the chili, the jackfruit chili, jackfruit is a fruit, right? And it's so delicious. And you can use it to replicate chicken or pulled pork. However, it's a fruit, so it has like literally no protein. And so if I use something like jackfruit, I like to bulk it up, especially because I don't want people to prepare my meals and be like, oh my gosh, I'm still starving. Bulk it up. Here's a soup with crispy beans on top, for example. Here's this curried kale salad. This is really good. It's got roasted cauliflower and a nice fresh broccoli salad for the summertime. We get to the quick little snacks in here too.
Yeah. That's on my list.
Mushroom hummus, another must. This is crazy. Hot cocoa kale chips, a must. These are the ribs I told you about, the corn ribs. Let me just
Okay.
breakfast. Tahini granola, unbelievable. I'm sorry, I'm complimenting myself, but oh my God, I don't like writing a cookbook is so much work.
I bet you.
It took like 2 years at least just to write this thing. So I'm like, oh, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
only put the recipes in here where I literally am like, I did that. You know what I mean? So there's
Good
the
for you.
biscuit with the sweet potato butter.
Ooh, I'm gonna make that. Oh my gosh.
My daughter and my nana.
Yay. Aw.
Yeah. So my whole family's in this cookbook too, because again, it was all about coming home. I wanted them to be in it. But
I
yeah,
love
there
it.
you
Well,
go.
good. Thank you so much. I know we went over a little bit. So, why should people read and buy your book? I'm
They,
sorry. Let me say it differently.
uh-huh.
Buy, read, and try your recipes.
Yes, right. We got
Let me get it together. I was just cheesing too much here.
I really think you should buy 2 copies because you're going to dirty up the 1 copy that you keep in the kitchen. If you're anything like me, I want you to dirty it up. I want you to dog ear it. I want you to try all the recipes. And I want you to try the recipes that really speak to you, that you're excited about. I think people should buy it because it will inspire you to try new things in the kitchen. And it'll inspire you to try eating more plants and prove to you that eating plants, and you don't have to be 100% vegan, but that vegan food, that plant-based food is delicious and satisfying and nourishing. It will make you feel amazing. And I'm hoping through that people will start to eat a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I would love it if the world were 100% vegan, but I'm not sure how realistic that is, you know? However, I do know that there are so many people out there who can be eating more plants and seeing so many more health benefits, and just you feel better. You can save a lot more money if you're eating plant-based, believe it or not. There's just so many benefits to eating this way, and I'm hoping that this cookbook will prove that to people and also push them in that direction.
Yay. Well, wonderful. So, how can people stay connected with you? I shared a recipe on on my Facebook page of you doing a video, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was some kind of bowl. Was it like your version of a Chipotle bowl?
Oh,
I
sofritas.
Yes, I shared the video. So if you follow her, you can find more videos. So tell them where they can follow you.
Yes, follow me at Sweet Potato Soul, sweetpotatosoul.com, or you can just Google Sweet Potato Soul. Everything will pop up. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got the blog, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's it. But also, I do advise or recommend that people sign up for my newsletter, because that way you'll get the recipe sent directly to your email. I send 2 newsletters a week, and in one of them, that's the Monday newsletter, I include a meal plan in there. It's totally free. The whole thing is free. Only thing I sell is the cookbook, so it's all free. So sign up, take advantage, and start eating more plants. And if anybody ever has questions about eating vegan or eating more plants or cooking or anything, then you can email me, and my email address is my name, Jenné, at sweetpotatosoul.com. And I'm terrible at DMs, so email me, Jenné at sweetpotatosoul.com.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Jenné. We appreciate this. If you need a copy of the cookbook, or excuse me, 2 copies of the cookbook, go to foodtemptress.com. We have copies at my store in Virginia Beach inside the Planet Tree Boutiques. And this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Jenné.
Thank you.